Hello everyone, it's Crystal from Beautifully Broken Crafts Halls and More, and I have some DIYs for you guys today. So the first one I'm going to be making is a faith-based sign. Marcus had reached out to me and asked me to make him a sign with a serenity prayer on it. No, he is not practicing sobriety or anything like that. He struggles with really bad anxiety, and he said that this prayer helps him. So I just took one of the Dollar Tree tag signs I had in my stash from the summer, and I turned it over and painted the entire backside of it white with the Waverly chalk paint, and I did about 2 coats. And then I took this angle ruler and did a little border around the edges about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then I take the Waverly antique wax to give it a wood border to make it look like it's framed. And then I took some craft paper and hot glued it to the opposite side, which has that summer print on it and glitter. That way I didn't feel like sanding all of this or whatnot. And then I just took my box cutter and trimmed the excess paper off of there. Once that was all done, I did print out the Serenity Prayer on my Cricut in a matte gold finish heat transfer vinyl, and I just applied the heat press on there until it was sticking. I think I did it at 300 degrees, 30 seconds per section, because, you know, my heat press isn't as large as that decal is. But once that was done and the plastic on top cooled down, I peeled that off, and then the words were stuck to there. And then I also had cut out a little decal of the praying hands, and I heat transferred that down to the sign as well. And I didn't record it, but it felt like it was still missing something, so I do end up taking one of the laser cut crosses from Dollar Tree and painting it black and gluing it on here, and I just used the Jew cord, and there it is completed. I used the Jew cord it came with and just rethreaded it through that hole that was on there. So that is it for DIY number 1. DIY number 2, we have some clear glitter ornaments. These are also from Dollar Tree. So I had an assortment of these flat, round, plastic ornaments. I had 3 of them, and then I had 2 of the Christmas light bulb ones. Anyhow, so I just took this floor cleaner. Generally, people use Mop and Glow for this, but I could not find any Mop and Glow, so I found this Quick Shine, but it's actually the same thing. So what you do is you just squirt some of it into the ornament, and then you roll it around the inside of the ornament until it's got that like cloudy looking color on the inside all the way around, and then you dump out the excess back into the bottle, and then use a funnel to pour in the glitter that of your choosing, color of your choosing, and roll that around inside the ornament until it's all covered on the inside. And then I just tip those upside down to let that all settle. And I did that flat round red in red. I did a flat one in green, one in multicolor, and then the other light bulb I had I did in a blue glitter. So this red one, I'm just adding some vinyl to the front of it, and I'm making this for Marcus's one stepdaughter, Adriana. So I put her name on the front and then the year on the back. This blue light bulb I did for, it looks like it's for Nariah, one of his other stepdaughters. So I had just used the same thing, white vinyl, cut out on my Cricut, and then I put the year on the back of this one as well. I don't show you guys me making every single one, but you're going to see the finished products in the end here in about 2 seconds. There's Adriana's, and that's the back of it with the year. The next one is done in green glitter, and that's for Halo. That's his youngest stepdaughter, and then the back of it also has the year. This one's a multicolored glitter, and it says, "I'm done." This is for Peyton. That's her phrase. And it has Peyton 2021 on the back. She says, "I'm done about 30 times a day." This one is Nariah's. It's the blue glitter light bulb, and it has the year on the back. And then the other one is the purple light bulb, and it has Zariah's name on it with the year on the back. So Nariah and Zariah are his twin stepdaughters. So that's it for those clear glitter ornaments. On to DIY number 3. I did 2 snow globe ornaments, one for Marcus and one for his girlfriend, Daynara. I don't personalize them with their names or anything, but I did take the bottoms off of these, and I just used some white Waverly chalk paint to color that gray bottom because I just didn't care for the gray. So I did that twice, and I even painted the inside of it white, and I took 4 of these little wooden cubes you get from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square. And these globe ornaments are also from Dollar Tree. And I just painted those white on 4 sides because I'm going to use those to elevate some stuff that I'm going to be gluing to the inside of these bases. Excuse me. I only did 1 coat on the inside of the base because I am going to be putting faux snow in this. So then I had these little cobblestone figurines from Dollar Tree. So on the one I'm making for Mark, I glued down the Santa Claus to it, to that white cube, that wooden cube, and then glued that to the base. And then I glued the letters to Santa mailbox on one of those cubes and then glued it on the base. And then I just pour a bunch of faux snow in the globe part of the ornament and shook it around. And then for Daynara's, I used a snowman and a Christmas tree. Now, I did want the tree to stand up slightly taller than the snowman, so I had to glue that to one of those little cubes. And then I just took a piece of cardboard off of that faux snow package and folded it up like 4 times and glued it to the bottom of the base, and then the cube to that piece of cardboard to give it extra height over the snowman just a little bit. And then I will add faux snow to the globe part of this and screw that together. And then I will add ribbon to the base of these as well. So for Daynara's, I used this Dollar Tree ribbon. It was red and it has snowflakes and trees that look like they have snow on them. And then when I do Mark's, I use some ribbon also from Dollar Tree that says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And I just glued that down around the base, tacked it down every few inches with some hot glue, and then cut off the excess ribbon. And that was it for these. So there's Marcus's with the Santa Claus and the mailbox. And there's Daynara's with the snowman and the tree. On to DIY number 4. I have a package of 6 little wood rounds. I want to say they came from Walmart. Oh, but the first thing I did was I did take one of those wooden snakes you get from the Crafter Square Dollar Tree, and I cut it down, and then I hot glued and wood glued it together to make this circle. I had to let that dry overnight, the wood glue, so that just stayed to the side. And I did, of course, keep any pieces I cut off of that. Anyhow, back to the 6 wooden round slices I have. They've been in my craft stash forever, but I'm pretty sure they were from Walmart. I just used some tissue paper for 3 of them that I did get from the Dollar Tree. So the first one's going to have the holly and the leaves on it. The next one's going to have, like, some Christmas words, merry, joy, bright, all that. And then the third one will have plaid on it. So I just used my Elmer's glue stick, and I put glue all over, the one side of this wooden slice. Then I take a sanding sponge from Dollar Tree and sand off the sides to get rid of the excess. And I even put a piece of tissue paper on the back of this as well, just so it was more finished looking. Did the same process, used my glue stick, smoothed it out with my finger. I didn't have any wrinkles, bubbles, nothing once I smoothed it out, and sanded on off those edges in a downward fashion to get all that excess tissue paper off. And then I do the same thing for this next one with the tissue paper that has the wording on it. And then I will take my drill and just drill a hole in actually all 6 of these, probably like a ½ inch of the way, not even down. That way I can string these with some ribbon so they can hang from the tree. And I did this one front and back with the tissue paper as well. And for that one, I just used my little Arts as a Squeegee tool to flatten it out. But just your fingers will work just as fine, just as well too. There I go with the drill, drilling the holes in. So now I did use gold gift ribbon on these two, and the other one I used the tissue paper for as the little ribbon. That way it can be hung up. I just put it through there, looped it up at the top with a knot, and cut off any of the excess tails that were on there. And then I'm going to zhuzh these up. So for the one with the holly, I used this word spirit from the rub-on transfers you can get from Dollar Tree. I had it in my craft stash. And this sheet of words it's just like a bunch of inspirational words like celebrate, love, cherish, and all that. So I just really liked the spirit one. And then I am going to take one of the mini wreaths that they're calling them from a Dollar Tree, and I'm going to deconstruct some pieces off of it. So I just used these little 2 pieces of greenery that kind of look like the holly leaves almost. And then I take a couple pieces of holly as well, or the berries, and I glue those to it, and that'll be that for that one. And now those cutters I'm using are called miter shears. You can get those off Amazon. I think I paid like 12 or 15 bucks for those. I can't remember. Now this one, I was debating between the last laser cut cross I had or this little wooden star that you can get in a pack from Dollar Tree. So I settled on the little wooden star, and I just used that antique wax from Waverly to give it a faux stain. And then I cut down some of this pine greenery off of that same mini wreath I have sitting on the table from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to use some of that to decorate the bottom portion of this ornament. I almost said wreath. Did I say wreath for the other one? You guys know what I mean. I think if I did say wreath, I apologize, but me and Peyton said that a lot of these looked like miniature, wreaths you would make to hang on your door. Anyways, so this one I just used some of that pine and some of the berries. I keep checking on that snake to see if that wood glue is done yet, and it's not. At first I was only going to put 1 piece of the pine on there, but it just looked empty on the bottom part, so I added another piece and another berry. And that was that. And then I set that snake aside for the night. And the next day I go back to the round snake because it's all set up and dry. At first I was debating on taking these, the bell garland from Dollar Tree and wrapping it around here in the voids. And once I did not like it, so I undid it all. And instead, I decided to go grab one of these bells out of the 9-pack that you can get from Dollar Tree. And I just used one of the strings that was in that box to string that on there and tie it up so it would hang from the center of this round. And I did add some hot glue just to secure that in and cut off the extra string. And then I was just getting some excess hot glue off of there with that picker. I took the hat ornament you can get from Dollar Tree and I ripped all of the greenery and berries off of it so I could use it on the top of this ornament that I'm making. So on one side will be the pine, and then the other is that leaf, and then there will be the berries on top of that leaf, and I add a red bell. But I also had this, it's like farmhouse looking ribbon in my craft stash, so I just made a simple shoelace bow out of this, and I cut it down the size, dovetailed the tails of it as well once I got it to the length I wanted it, and I will hot glue that to the center of that greenery and the berries. And then I also take another strip of that ribbon and glue it to that so it can hang from the tree. And I cut off any excess at the top that I didn't like or that was looking frayed. Now I went back to the wood slices. So the third one of the wood slices is going to be that last one I do with tissue paper, and it's the plaid tissue paper, also from Dollar Tree. Same process. Used a school glue stick, glued it on there, cut off the excess, and then used the sanding sponge to get the rest of the excess off, and did the back of it as well. This one was probably the easiest one to do. Did the same thing with the back and the tissue paper. And then I do drill the hole in this and put a piece of gold gift ribbon on there to hang it from the tree. And for this little one to be embellished, I just do one thing in the center, and that was one of those wooden Christmas tree stickers you can get from Dollar Tree that's already glittered. And I just glue it to the center of this wood round, and that was it for this one. And I left that little glue dot on the back of it that's already, that's on there from the Dollar Tree pack, just to give it a little bit of elevation. I debated on adding something else to it, but I changed my mind because sometimes less is more. For the last 3 rounds I had to work with, I do drill a hole in all 3 of them, but these 3 are going to be painted. So this first one I make, I paint it black with the ink Waverly chalk paint, front and back and the sides. And then I am going to paint on the front of it for it to look like a snowman that looks like is melting. You guys will see. It's hard to describe, but I just freehanded it. I had seen it on Pinterest on a big pizza pan from Dollar Tree, and I just thought, well, I can make that smaller and an ornament, and that's what I did. So I just take the white Waverly chalk paint and do like a mound of snow. That's my version of a mound of snow. And then I take the end of the paintbrush and I dip it into the paint so you can make dots on your piece of wood. And then I take a smaller brush and do the same thing with that. And I did a couple coats of that white. Then I take the pumpkin by Waverly, which is basically orange, to make his carrot nose pointing up towards the sky. And I just touched up here and there when I had to. I did make his mouth right there where you see those little black dots on his face. But then I made his rosy cheeks further down, so I had to paint over those black dots and redo them, which was fine. It didn't take long, especially being as I used the heat gun to make this dry faster. Otherwise, I'd be sitting there still. No, I'm kidding. It would take longer, though. Nobody wants to sit there watching paint dry. So I just went over it to touch that up and put the little dots for his mouth in the spots that I wanted it. And then I will use silver ribbon, gift ribbon, to thread through this one and then the other 2 that I'm going to be working on. And then I did feel like this was missing something, so I was going to paint like little eyes on there. Then that didn't look right, so then I just wiped those off really quick before the paint dried with a wipey, touched it up a little bit, and then I decided to take some of that white pom-pom, are they calling it garland at Dollar Tree? You guys will see it. And I'm just going to glue that along the edge of this ornament all the way around. And I just glue it down every few, probably like I do a strip, and then I just start setting it down until I get, to the point where I started it at, and then I just cut off the excess and glue down the little bit that I had to glue down, and then I will thread the ribbon on this one. If you guys hear something in the background, yes, I do have my fan on. We had like a little heat wave these past few days. It was like 60-some degrees, and it just feels very humid today. For this next little wooden slice, I drilled the hole in it, and I'm going to use the Waverly Antique Wax and a baby wipe to give this a faux stain effect, front and back, and then I just sand down the sides of it to give it a slightly distressed look. And then I will take 3 of the wooden snowflake stickers you get from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to paint them white. Paint them white with the white Waverly chalk paint. And then I will go in my craft stash, and I had some little rhinestone stickers. There's pink, and then there was a couple silver ones left. So I just took some of the silver ones off and glued them to the center of those snowflakes. Just to give it some oomph. And then I will glue I do the ribbon first, and then I glue the snowflakes down. But I will glue these snowflakes down, leaving those glue dots on the back of it just for elevation to give it a more 3D looking effect. And that's it for this one. I just used that little tool to pick off any strings of hot glue. Last but not least, I take this wood round, do the hole again, sand it down, and I'm going to paint this one in the white Waverly chalk paint, front and back. I think I did to do, maybe I only did 1 coat on each side, because I didn't mind if any wood was showing, like grain was going to show through. And I did the sides as well. And just use my heat tool gun to get that dry. And then I'm threading the silver ribbon on this one as well. And then I'm going to take that same sheet of rhinestone stickers I had that I pulled the silver dots off of. And in the center of it, it had like this really pretty pink and silver starburst. So I just took that off that sheet and stuck it to the wood slice. And then I added some little pieces around it to make it look like it was bursting a little larger. And they're already sticky on the back, so I didn't even have to glue any of that. And once I got the rhinestones where I wanted them to lay, that was it for this one. I don't know what I'm doing in the background there with my hands every few minutes. Maybe I'm talking to paint. No, there's the one with the bell in the center of it, hung up, that was made out of that Crafter Square snake. There's the one round that says Spirit. That one's my favorite. I mean, I like that one too, but I really think the one that says Spirit is one of my favorites. There's the one with the tree. There's the little snowman melting. There's the snowflakes. And there's the pink starburst. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In total, I made 14 ornaments. Please let me know which ones you guys like best. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up.